An unthinkable tragedy that forever changed El Paso. It's been 3 years since the mass shooting at the Cielo Vista Walmart, and El Paso remains resilient. Tonight, we remember the 23 victims killed.
We will never forget. These crosses behind us represent those who were taken.
I mean, we're a special community. It doesn't define us. It's a part of our history, but it was an attack on who we are.
And we'll honor the many who were hurt, including those with psychological wounds that are still impacting their lives, like this former Walmart employee.
What he did to me. I'm still here. I don't go out with my husband.
We'll show you how this couple's unbreakable bond helps with their recovery. Tonight, ABC 7 at 10 has complete coverage of how El Paso stays strong 3 years later. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Stephanie Valle. We have complete team coverage of the 3rd anniversary of the Cielo Vista Walmart shooting. 23 people were killed on August 3rd, 2019. Tonight, the tributes continued across El Paso. My co-anchor Eric Elkin is at Escalante Park, where the county marked the somber occasion with a memorial at the Healing Garden. And ABC 7 reporter Dylan McKim met with families touched by the tragedy at several of the memorial events today. But let's start with ABC 7's Eric Elkin, who joins us live from Escalante Park. Eric.
Stephanie, a beautiful ceremony just wrapping up here at Escalante Park at the Healing Garden within the last hour or so. Victims' families, community members, and dignitaries coming out here tonight to reflect, to remember, and to join in prayer and remember and keep everyone remembering that we will remain El Paso strong. Each of the 23 victims' names were read aloud. The gathering of people then saying in unison after each one of those names, "Rest in peace." ABC 7 photojournalist Jerry Nahara brings us the sights and sounds of tonight's remembrance at the Healing Garden.
It's a difficult time for a community, but we're hoping that we have a place. You know, we have a place to meditate, a place to reflect. It's a beautiful garden, and my vision, what I had was that this is something from them to us.
It's nice, you know, to see something that the family can come here and, you know, think about them and, you know, remember them. The people that lost, you know, family members, you know that El Paso's behind them.
Again, a touching tribute here at the Healing Garden, which is meant for meditation, reflection, and prayer. The 23 plaques on the wall behind me with waterfalls adjacent to that, and they had those beams of light behind each one of those plaques going up into the sky with the American flag draping and gently flapping in the breeze here this evening. It was one of just many events that honored and remembered the victims and the people who were impacted that day 3 years ago, though, across the borderland. ABC 7's Dylan McKim joins us live from the Cielo Vista Walmart, the Grand Candela, with what else was happening throughout the borderland today.
Behind me, the Grand Candela illuminating into the night. 23 plaques, one for each victim, lies beneath that memorial. Tonight, 3 years after that tragedy, ceremonies across the city to make sure we never forget those 23 lives.
Politicians, faith-based leaders, and victims' families gathered at Ponder Park 23 crosses bearing the 23 names of each victim from the Walmart shooting. In attendance, Pastor Michael Grady. His daughter's name could have been on one of those crosses. She was shot on August 3rd. After extensive surgeries, Michelle Grady survived.
She is my hero, along with the other survivors who worked through. But together we stand. Divided we fall. So I say to you today, si se puede, let's continue to heal the nation. Let us be the example.
By nightfall, Ponder Park hosts another memorial, this one by the city. 23 groups of luminarias. People were encouraged to write down messages for the victims and their families.
This is what they wanted. They wanted something that they could sit there and enjoy, and I think this to make sure that their loved ones are remembered.
Kiki Armendariz was there with his wife. An emotional night for him. His wife religiously shops at that Walmart on Saturdays, but had to work on the day of the shooting.
To me, it was very personal. She could have been a victim, and I thank the good Lord that she was not there.
A lifelong El Pasoan, Armendariz comes here to grieve with the community and families.
The victims are, like I say, they're in heaven now, but I pray for their families because that pain will never erase from the family.
The Blue Flame building in downtown flashing 23 times, and the star on the mountain that overlooks the border town flashing on and off 23 times.
Tonight, the Grand Candela is surrounded by flowers, candles, El Pasoans coming up. You can see a man right now sitting down at the base of the memorial. Some come for a few minutes, some stay longer, a moment to remember the lives we lost. I leave you tonight with a look at this memorial. Eric, we'll send things back to you.
All right, Dylan, and to extra depth and perspective now, it was a year ago on the second anniversary of the Walmart shooting that I posted a photo of the 23 victims, and it was one comment in particular that caught my attention. Eddie Medina Sr. writing, quote, of his wife, "Thank God she was able to run out of there. She is my El Paso strong." She was one of many who were able to make it out on that horrific day. But while she wasn't physically injured, the wounds she carries still are prevalent today.
The constant flow of water, accompanied by a constant reminder. For 3 years now, our community has been without these 23. But what's gotten so many through El Paso's darkest day can be summarized in 3 words: El Paso strong. Cecilia and Eddie Medina Sr. are living proof.
We're in love. But she's been through a lot.
That's because she's a 2-time survivor. First, a breast cancer diagnosis in 2018.
It was painful. And it was hard.
But she says not as hard as what happened just 4 months after beating cancer. On August 3rd, 2019.
The noise, the popping. And I said, that's not balloons.
Cecilia was a Walmart associate tidying up her area for the day in the women's department. Then she heard the deafening sound.
The popping, and then I saw somebody shoot. I saw him shoot somebody right there by the door where we were, like if he was coming up. It was like, I freeze.
In an instant, the place and job that gave her so much joy for more than 25 years became the scene of a nightmare she could not return to.
They told us, you can go back to another store, but I know I'm not gonna be the same.
And life as the Medinas knew it would never be the same. Eddie, seeing the pain and fear in his wife, gave up the career he loved.
And that's when I said, that's it. That's it. It's time to retire so I could stay home and take care of her.
Cecilia, still seeing a psychiatrist and therapist 3 years later, feels robbed by the shooter.
Because what he did to me, I'm still here. I don't go out with my husband. It's very rare that I go. I just tell him when I feel so desperate and everything, I go, get me out. Just get me out. And it's because I feel the anxiety.
That anxiety never feeling more overwhelming than in a Phoenix Walmart parking lot. They were there for a family funeral, and Eddie needed to run in to grab a shirt. As Cecilia walked toward the entrance with him,
oh no, let's go. He started to say, I'm sorry, Sissy, I didn't know. I forgot. I go, no, just take me back home.
she still never stepped foot back into a Walmart or almost any other store since. Cecilia finally felt like she was turning a corner this spring. Any progress was abruptly halted in a matter of 10 days. Mass shootings in Buffalo and then Uvalde.
When the shooting happened to the kids, it wasn't me. It was like I had to call my counselor. Oh, I'm going crazy. Look at all these kids. What happened? And we kept talking for hours. When is all this gonna stop? When is all this gonna stop?
That question remains unanswered, but hope for a better future for Cecilia and Eddie lives on.
Well, I'm hoping we could go out more. Travel.
It's been 3 years. I haven't gone out there. But thank God, I'm here. And what I want to do is I want to get better.
Because Cecilia is a cancer survivor and a Walmart shooting survivor, she is El Paso strong.
And Cecilia is using that strength in prayer right now. Doctors recently finding and revealing that they found 2 tumors. She's praying for a good diagnosis in the coming weeks, and then eventually the couple wants to knock off 2 bucket list items in their travels. Cecilia wants to go to the Riverwalk in San Antonio, and Eddie wants to see Pearl Harbor, a retired Navy vet. And Stephanie, we are certainly praying for that good diagnosis for Cecilia. I can also tell you that Eddie came out here to the Healing Garden earlier tonight to pay his respects. He brought that sign with him, but Cecilia had to stay home. Stephanie.
Eric, that story is just a reminder that even though people weren't physically hurt, the trauma still remains in our minds. Thank you for that story. ABC 7's complete coverage of the Cielo Vista Walmart shooting continues after the break. 3 years since the massacre, and the trial for the accused shooter is still years away. The status of the case next. This is ABC 7 at 10, where news comes first. Welcome back to ABC 7 at 10. The federal trial for the accused Walmart shooter is set to start in January 2024. But it could be a while before we know if the U.S. attorneys prosecuting the case will seek the death penalty. The U.S. attorneys trying the case would first need to send their recommendation for execution to Washington, D.C. That undergoes committee review, and their recommendation is sent to the U.S. Attorney General. The AG ultimately approves whether to seek the death penalty. The Justice Department has a moratorium on federal executions, and President Biden has come out against them. But the El Paso District Attorney has said she intends to seek the death penalty. We spoke with Amanda Enriquez, a deputy public defender and a former El Paso prosecutor assigned to the Walmart shooter case. We asked her about the likelihood for the state case to go to trial if the federal case resulted in a death sentence.
The goal is to do it once and not put the community, these victims, through it again. He can only get the death penalty once. So I would find it unlikely that the DA's office, knowing that the federal government was successful in getting the death penalty, would pursue a second trial to get the same outcome and put everyone through that and waste resources and put everyone through a second trial again. So I would find it very unlikely.
Enriquez also says it's likely the trial will be moved because it will be difficult to find jury members who have not already formulated an opinion on the case. Tonight, El Paso is staying strong. Today marks 3 years since the Cielo Vista Walmart shooting, and tributes for the victims have been happening all day. Like this one, the star on the Franklin Mountain flashing 23 times tonight for each of the people killed. And in downtown El Paso, the flame from the iconic Blue Flame building also flashing tonight to honor the victims. The El Paso sports community also paid their respects this evening. We'll show you how coming up next in sports. And welcome back to ABC 7 at 10. Tonight, we remember those who lost their lives on August 3rd, 2019 at the Cielo Vista Walmart. And Eric, we all try hard to be strong and hold each other up as a community in the aftermath of this tragedy. And we've seen so many examples of that over the last 3 years and even tonight. And at the same time, we all must never forget those who died.
It's a night and it's a day that we think is going to get easier with time maybe, and it really doesn't get any easier. It is still so difficult to comprehend what happened 3 years ago on August 3rd, 2019. But what makes me so proud to be a part of this community is the resilience and the strength we see from it year in and year out, day after day, and especially on these anniversaries. And as we say goodnight to you tonight, Stephanie and I wanted to read you each and every one of the 23 victims' names who were senselessly taken from us on August 3rd, 2019.
Adolfo Hernandez,
Sarah Moriel,
Alexander Hoffman,
Jordan Anchondo,
Andre Anchondo,
Angie Inglesby,
Arturo Benavides,
David Johnson,
Elsa Mendoza de la Mora,
Gloria Marquez,
Guillermo Memo Garcia,
Ivan Manzano,
Javier Amir Rodriguez,
Jorge Calvillo Garcia,
Juan Velasquez,
Maribel Campos,
Leo Campos,
Luis Juarez,
Margie Ricard,
Maria Flores,
Raul Flores,
Maria Eugenia Legarreta,
Teresa Sanchez,